From MontanaSports.com, this is MTN Sports Extra.
Hello and welcome to a very, very special edition of Sports Extra on a Saturday night. Tom Wiley here alongside Grace Lawrence, and we are in Frisco, Texas, following the Montana State Bobcats of the FCS National Championship game.
Excited to be joining you tonight on Sports Extra. The Bobcats will be playing on Monday night up the road at Toyota Stadium, but we are here in Cowboys HQ, their practice facility, the Star. It's a great city here in Frisco.
Yeah, they call Frisco Sports City USA, and this is definitely the centerpiece of all of the sports-related stuff in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And if you've seen some of the content about the Star, if you've even heard of it, chances are that's due to a Win It Montana native. Ted Barnett first developed an interest in media while he was a student athlete at Win It High School.
I always had this knack in high school for taking photos. You know, that was a class that one of our shop teachers allowed us to develop some black and white pictures. And so I won like Best of Show at the county fair 2 years in a row. And so things came real natural. It seemed like I really wanted to connect with that. And
that interest led him to a tech school and then a whirlwind career that included stops working behind the scenes at a TV station in Billings. He then spent 20 years in Alaska working various media jobs and enhancing his skill set.
And during that journey there, you know, I had a lot more editing and a lot more storytelling. You know, a few years later, I started up my own company, and that grew into oil field contracts.
Eventually, Ted and his family moved to the Dallas area, where he started working freelance gigs for the Cowboys, his favorite team, and that led to a job offer.
Finally, one day they came up to me and said, Ted, would you come work for us? And you know, I kind of thought about it. It was an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
Barnett is the content manager for the Star in Frisco, Texas, headquarters for the NFL's Dallas Cowboys.
There's roughly 3,500 monitors in the Star here and at the stadium. And so these big giant video displays that run 24/7 with content that we produce, they needed somebody to kind of to manage all that content, and it wasn't just filming. There was so much motion graphic stuff, and it's difficult sometimes to find a person that has both sides of that. And somehow through the course of my career, I've developed a fairly equal balance.
The Cowboys are the most valuable sports franchise on earth, and Barnett believes his Montana roots helped him on the path to what many would consider a dream job.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing for the world. There was a lot of stuff that I learned there that has helped me in my life and career from being in a small town, and it's been a great ride.
Welcome back to Texas, everybody, where Montana State's run at a national football championship is actually spilling into the basketball arena, more specifically, the NBA.
This hallway, so when I got here, we basically redid this, so it kind of gives you like a little bit of history.
This is Nico Harrison, general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. He may be the league's most soft-spoken, unassuming GM, and his rise started at Montana State, where he played his final 3 years, even leading MSU to the NCAA tournament. Harrison isn't lost on fame. He still keeps a fun chain text with former Cats coach Mick Durham and teammates.
Yeah, Scott Hatler, best point guard I've ever had. Adam Leachman's kind of like the best glue guy ever. And then Danny Sullivan was the best backup because he never played.
Harrison not only keeps a close eye on the Bobcats, he was in Bozeman for November's win over the Grizz.
Well, it was cold. And that's the reason why I haven't been back, because it was cold. But no, it was fun. It was fun watching them dominate the Grizz.
Truth about Harrison is, NBA general manager was never even on his mind at Montana State.
No, I was pre-med, so I thought I was going to be a doctor, and I fell short.
Hardly. Instead, the Portland native latched on with Nike back in his hometown. Through 19 years, Harrison climbed all the way to vice president of North American sports marketing. Just 3.5 years ago in June, Mavs then-owner Mark Cuban lured Harrison away from Nike. How did that deal go down?
Yeah, good question. So, one, it's in COVID, so I'm just locked into Nike. My future is already, the path is paved, and I'm comfortable with it. Cuban calls me up, and then, 30 hours from the first time we talked to the time we had a handshake agreement.
And talk about a rapid rise. Less than 7 months ago, Dallas was playing Boston in the NBA Finals. The Celtics won in 5, but during Harrison's tenure, Dallas signed All-Star Luka Doncic to a $215 million extension. This week, Harrison says he wouldn't miss his Bobcats chasing history. He'll be at Monday's FCS Championship and says he has a good feeling about it.
I think it's our time. Montana State by 3.
In Frisco, Texas, Scott Breen, MTN.
Welcome back to a very special edition of Sports Extra here in Frisco, Texas. Now, Grace, you can't talk about the success of the Montana State Bobcats without talking about everything quarterback Tommy Mellott.
The pride of Butte, and our Luke Shelton has more with Tommy Mellott's high school coach, Ari Gray.
MTN's Luke Shelton out here at Naranche Stadium on the campus of Butte High, and 5 years ago, a kid by the name of Tommy Mellott signed with Montana State football.
I mean, business is booming over in Bozeman.
Now, since then, his meteoric ascension has quickly grown into the stuff of legends, and one person back here in the mining city who has greatly enjoyed watching him evolve into a household name has been his high school football coach. Before Mellott was guiding Montana State to its second national championship in 4 years, he was, of course, Butte High's do-it-all quarterback. And the same team-first mindset that he's had with the Bobcats was present when he was playing for Ari Gray and the Bulldogs.
That's what Tommy does. He does what's asked of him, and it doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, you need me to do this, I'll do that. The guy ran down on kickoffs to start his career. He played receiver. He did whatever. He probably could drive the bus and fly the plane and do whatever, you know.
A former Montana State receiver, Gray has had as much fun watching MSU's magical season unfold as the rest of us. And back in October, he got to be part of it for a moment as he handed off the state flag to his former QB prior to MSU's blowout win over Idaho.
Such an honor for me just to be a Montana kid and play there and hand that off to whoever would have been, and then being Tommy, I mean, that was pretty special. And it was kind of neat because, you know, we got an opportunity, you know, we're standing there face to face, and like he was so locked in, and it was kind of cool. And I kind of pitied Idaho at that point in time.
And as a former Bobcat, Gray has had a blast watching the program that means so much to him continue to reach new heights.
To see what Coach Vegan is built off of, with Coach Choate and what they've done, you know, in these last, 4 years is pretty special. As a super old guy, to be able to look at what they're doing today, it's pretty special. It's pretty neat.
Mellott has forged an unforgettable legacy in Bozeman, but he's done so as a Butte native, and Gray believes he's an ideal representative for the mining city.
He's the poster child for Butte America. You know, he's the guy that's going to bring my lunch pail. I'm going to work extremely hard. I'm going to be tough. I'm not going to really say a whole lot. I'm just going to do my job.
On Monday, Montana State will be looking to put a bow on what's so far been its most successful season in program history. Gray will be in Texas to cheer on the Bobcats, and it's going to be a surreal feeling watching Mellott suit up one final time. Is it dawn on you that this is going to be Tommy's last college game? Does it make you feel old?
It does. It makes me feel really old, because you go back, I was like, really it's been a 9-year, process of when I've gotten to spend a ton of time with him. To think that this is the last time he'll wear the blue and the gold is pretty crazy.
And as we get closer to the FCS championship, be sure to keep tuning in for more content from our team down in Frisco. In Butte, Luke Shelton, MTN Sports.
Montana State offensive lineman Marcus Wehr really began to blossom here at St. Francis before helping Billings Central to a state championship in his senior year. But his peers have long known that he's been a different beast.
The first football memory I have of Marcus was a tackling drill where, it was old school. They just lined us both up and you ran straight at each other and hit each other. And I remember trying to tackle Marcus, and believe it or not, I was actually bigger than him at the time. And he still hit so hard, he flat-backed me. And I just remember thinking, wow, that's like my welcome to football moment.
Right. Roll out.
Marcus spent his first 3 years at MSU on the defensive side of the ball before moving and flourishing on the offensive side. Kraft in particular remembers Marcus beginning to separate himself from the pack in high school, where his habits weren't that of a normal kid.
A lot of guys loved football and they lifted hard and worked hard at practice, but Marcus watched film a lot more than most everybody else, and he actually cared about what he ate, which is really rare for a high school dude.
Marcus, his mom, it was so funny because his mom was a great lady, and she'd always talk about how she would have to cook like 4 or 5 steaks a day, and just he'd be eating that, and I'd be sitting there like, dude, how are you even eating that, let alone continuing to work out and all this extra stuff? So the eating was definitely very impressive. He'd be packing, eating your typical peanut butter and jelly between class periods. And
Wehr won't be done with his football career after January 6th title game, as he's accepted an invite to the East-West Shrine Bowl to be played in Dallas on January 30th. Wehr's long list of accomplishments is no surprise to those who grew up with him.
Just how he'd go about his business. It was just with a professional manner. It was very admirable. It's something you can apply to football or just like your everyday life and your job. I mean, he's super serious on the field, but he's a big goofball. He's super, still cares about his people. And
Wehr hopes he adds national champion to that resume next week. In Billings, Alec Boffinger, MTN Sports.
Welcome back to MTN Sports Extra, powered by MontanaSports.com.
Welcome back to Frisco, Texas for more Sports Extra. Now, head coach Brent Vigen is overseeing the most successful stretch in the history of Montana State football, but it wouldn't have been possible with the all-time winningest coach in Bobcat football history.
Yep, and our Scott Breen has more with Rob Ash.
Welcome back to the north side of Dallas, everybody, with a countdown to kickoff continues between Montana State and North Dakota State for Monday's national championship game. In the meantime, we found a former Bobcat head coach who actually lives right here in Frisco. One-on-one with Rob Ash. What brought you to Frisco?
Well, family. Grandchildren came along, and so we moved to be closer to them.
When you sit down in a stadium like this, does it get your juices flowing again?
Well, I'm still connected in football. So when you watch a game and you see the people talking about whether they should go for it on fourth down or not, and they say, what does the book say? Well, that's our company.
As a former coach, do you look at certain analytic situations that say go for it and think, I never would have gone for that?
Well, absolutely. That's changed a lot. But ironically, we were one of the pioneers of using this company and this service. When I was at Montana State in 2014 and 15, we were one of the first schools in the country to sign up. So we were kind of at the forefront of this on the coach's side.
Still the winningest coach.
Yeah.
When you look back now and you digest it, how does that feel?
Well, we had a lot of success, and that was fun, and I really enjoyed that. I'm especially happy about it because even though they had some success on the field before I got there, there were some missing pieces. The academic component was absolutely missing completely. You know, I don't know, people have kind of forgotten, but when we got there in 2007, we were the last ranked team in FCS in the country in the academic performance rating, APR. And because of that low ranking, we lost 10% of our scholarships. And so we were working out to dig out of the hole from the very beginning. The first championship was special. You know, we went up there and beat Montana, and Denarius McGee and Cody Kirk and Mike Ryder made the interception at the end of the game. You couldn't script a storybook ending any better than that. I guess the big piece for me was just being able to get the program to the point where it had the respect of everyone on campus, in the community, in the state, as being a high character, high quality program.
So have you done any homework in the last week? Is this Bobcat team built to win this game?
To be honest with you, I have not.
Yeah.
I always track the scores, and I'm very curious to see, hoping they'll win the games, of course, but I really have not done any in-depth scouting.
Coach, thank you for sitting down with us, and certainly enjoy the game this weekend as a fan.
Thank you. I plan to be a true fan, just watching and enjoying the game and hoping the Bobcats pull it out.
Well, Montana State has fans all over the country, all over the world, and certainly all over Montana, even in the heart of Grizz country. MTN's Derek Joseph introduces us to an avid Grizz fan in Missoula.
When you think of Red's Bar, you may think of a hot spot in Missoula to watch a Grizz game, and you'd be right. But you may not know that the building that the bar is in is owned by one of the biggest Cats fans in Missoula, and she has been a fan for over 84 years. Among a sea of Grizz fans, Karma Gilligan sticks out like a sore thumb when she is decked out in Bobcat gear during the football season. However, even Grizz fans can appreciate Gilligan's fandom because her family's roots with Montana State University go back to the very beginning.
And I come from a long history of being a Cat fan. My grandfather and his 5 brothers made up the first Bobcat team in Butte in 1898.
With a long family history at Montana State, Gilligan has witnessed many highs and lows through decades of fandom.
I'm here at Reds for 20 years watching the game, and I ring my bell if we have a touchdown. A lot of times I'm the only Cat fan here, but I'm the loudest.
Now, after watching Montana State go undefeated in the 2024 season, Gilligan has secured tickets to Frisco, and she has a simple prediction for the national championship against North Dakota State.
Oh, they're going to win, of course.
Reporting in Missoula, I'm Derek Joseph, MTN Sports.
Welcome back to MTN Sports Extra, powered by MontanaSports.com.
Well, all eyes are on Frisco, Texas for the FCS National Championship game, but back in the Treasure State, Big Sky Conference basketball is underway.
Yes, both Montana State women and the Montana women conference play has started earlier today. They tipped off against Eastern Washington and Idaho.
The Montana State women are off to their best start in the 20-year tenure under head coach Tricia Binford. The 11-2 Bobcats opened Big Sky Conference play on Thursday with a thrilling 3-point victory over Idaho. They try to get to 2-0 in conference play as they welcome in Eastern Washington on this snowy Saturday afternoon. Slow start today, but Esme Morales igniting the Bobcat offense. Little yo-yo dribble into the scoop layup for 2. Eastern Washington getting good minutes from a Montana freshman. Billings West grad Courtney Grossman buries the corner jumper here. And then more from Grossman. One dribble along the baseline. She had a 13-point, 16-rebound double-double. Bobcats building a lead, though, behind suffocating defense. Natalie Picton ahead of the pack after the steal as she gets the easy bucket. And then Mara Dykstra off a nice feed from Isabel Bunyan, and MSU up 12 at the break. Eagles, though, fight all the way back in the third quarter. This triple by Grossman gives Eastern a 3-point lead as they'd outscore MSU 27-13 in the period. Fourth quarter now, Taylor Churick spins back towards the baseline, kisses it in with the left hand to tie it up. Then it's Caitlin Martin down low. She goes back over her right shoulder and gives MSU the lead for the final time. The Cats hold off Eastern Washington 66-54. In Bozeman, Alec Boffinger, MTN Sports.
Well, on Saturday here at Dahlberg Arena, the Montana Lady Grizz were looking to get a sweep in their first week of Big Sky Conference play. And after beating Eastern Washington on Thursday, on Saturday, the Lady Grizz welcomed the Idaho Vandals to town. Idaho came into the game off of a close loss to Montana State on Thursday, and we're looking to get back on track against the Lady Grizz. First quarter, points hard to come by for both teams, but here's Macy Donarski knocking down the three-pointer from the corner to make it 10-7 Montana. Second quarter now, and Hope Hassman was everywhere for Idaho, and she gets the layup to go here to make it a 4-point lead for the Vandals. Just before halftime, here's Matt Koenig getting the jumper to go, but Montana heads into halftime trailing Idaho 21-19. Second half in Montana on the attack now is Koenig with the beautiful pass to find Danny Barch in the corner as she knocks down the three-pointer. Then, very next possession, Barch again, bang, and that gives Montana a 2-point lead halfway through the third. Avery Waddington was once again big for the Lady Grizz on Saturday as the freshman went for 15 points, including this layup. But towards the end of the third quarter, the Vandals began to find some rhythm. Here's Sarah Brands getting the jumper to go before the third quarter buzzer, and from there, Idaho began to roll. Here's Brands again to make it a 12-point lead for Idaho. Then Jennifer Adlan gets the jumper to go to make it a 13-point lead for the Vandals midway through the fourth quarter. Late in the game, Lady Grizz looking for that spark in the comeback, and here's Koenig getting the layup as she finished with 11 points. But down the stretch, Idaho was just too much as the Vandals come into Missoula and get their first win in Big Sky Conference play as they defeat Montana 63-50. Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
Well, back to the gridiron. On Sunday night, MTN has your Bobcats special. From perfection to redemption, the Bobcats road to Frisco.
That's right, 9:30 coming up on Sunday night, but that'll do it for us here in Frisco, Texas. Thanks for watching this very special edition of Sports Extra. For Grace Lawrence, I'm Tom Wiley. Have a great night.